APEC. It may be best known as the summit with the funny shirts. World leaders wearing everything from Korean durumagi to Peruvian ponchos. But the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation is more than that. The APEC region is home to about 3 billion people and accounts for 45% of global trade and half of total gross domestic product for the world. But APEC has its limits.
APEC is basically a trade and economic group, but it's one that works by a principle that they call concerted unilateralism. That is, there's no sanctions, no compulsion. Everybody has to agree to do it and go away on their own and do it. And that is not as effective as some other forums which have sanctions and rules.
Work may be the last thing on people's minds here on the beautiful beaches of Bali, but there's actually a lot on the table here. The 21 member economies will discuss growth, trade, and just how the U.S. Federal Reserve, its taper talk, and the looming debt ceiling will affect them all. There's talk that as the U.S. economy improves, the Federal Reserve will begin scaling back or tapering its stimulus, a prospect that worries emerging economies because of rising borrowing costs. I asked the APEC head how concerned its members are about investment capital flowing from here to the U.S.
No one wants to see market volatility, but I think really there's more focus in the region on what happens as the price of capital goes back to normal and whether that could expose particular sectors where there's been a big build-up in credit or debt.
Always high on the agenda, free trade.
This year, perhaps the most important events will be in the sidelines around what's called the Trans-Pacific Partnership, a free trade deal involving not all of APEC, but 12 APEC economies. They're expected to make an announcement that they're quite close to getting there and will do so in the next few months.
For a resort island like Bali, it's taken years of preparation to prepare for an event like this. Hundreds of millions have been spent to upgrade infrastructure. 11,000 security forces are on guard, and part of the island is closed to tourists. With world leaders, their staff, and media descending on this island, it's no day at the beach to play host to them when they're used to hosting these guys. Patricia Wu, CNN, Bali, Indonesia.